it just worked out that way. We're always trying to play, whoever, and we've done that in the past a lot. It worked out where they were looking, we were looking, we were open the same date. They wanted to travel, so come on, we tend to try to play anybody. It just has to work out on both sides' schedules, and this one happened to work out for us. So,
absolutely. I mean, I've always heard Elon baseball when you talk about non-Power 5 schools. Anyway, I've always heard you guys are very competitive. Couple other questions, Coach. I've been asking coaches around the country. Real simple. Do we need to expand the tournament? I've got some mixed reactions. Some coaches say they don't want it watered down. Some say, to some extent it will help. Others are scared that maybe just the 10th or the 11th ACC or SEC team may get in. What do you think? What's your opinion on that, Coach?
To be honest with you, I haven't really given it much thought. There's two ways to look at it. One, if you expand it, does that help? The Power 5, are they just going to get more teams in? And then if not, then sure we'd probably be. If you're at a mid-major, you're thinking, okay, it could help maybe get you in, but at the end of the day, if it's opening it up, they're getting the 10th and 11th team in a league in, then I don't know that I would agree to that. That's the way that would go about. I don't know if it needs to be opened up. Maybe if it does, maybe there's some changes that can go into place where your regular season champion from leagues automatically get in versus a tournament champion. Just some other ways maybe to kind of maybe clean it up if you're going to expand it so that the best teams in leagues get a chance to play versus 12 teams in the league. And I get the SEC, and I get how good of a league it is, and I get they all are going to tell you, hey, well, our 10th team is better than your second team, in certain leagues and stuff like that. I get all that, but at the end of the day, we're all playing under the same umbrella in the NCAA. So how do we make it, competitive and versus if they want to just make it a Power 5 only, then hey, have at it. You know what I mean? I don't really know, man. I don't have all the answers. I haven't thought about it in-depthly. If I'd have known you were going to ask me this question, I would say, give me some time. Let me think about it. But truth be told, I don't, I think there's some ways we could open it up if they're talking about doing that. And if they do so, to try to maybe change, who gets in terms of automatic bids. To me, that's the biggest thing I would say is, hey, tournaments are great, and let's reward a tournament champion, but let's also reward regular season champions. And perhaps there's two teams from every league that gets in, your tournament champion and your regular season champion. That's just me thinking off the top of my head. But if you opened it up, I think those type of things could happen. Potentially, so I don't really have an answer yet. I haven't dug into it that deep. I'm trying to get my team ready to play.
Right. Oh no, I totally understand, Coach. Yeah, I mean that's really what you're saying makes sense. Is what I've interviewed a bunch of coaches, and they've said pretty much the same thing. Like where will it water down? I mean, we'll be able to make time for it because of this and that. And my thing is, as a writer for college baseball, I just want things to be fair. And I saw some teams, and I don't want you to have to speak on it, but I can speak on it. I think I saw some teams last year that probably should have got in the tournament, and I don't care what anybody says. I think if you win 40 games, you're a pretty good baseball team. And I like what you said, maybe having the conference and regular season tournament, maybe just have two teams guaranteed from some of the smaller conferences. That makes a lot of sense as one of the equations. But I think there's just got to be something because, I mean, as we saw a couple years ago, Coastal Carolina won the College World Series. So,
and Stony Brook got there one year, and so there's some good teams out there that can compete. They just got to get that opportunity sometimes. But and again, I understand the Power 5 and the depth of those leagues. I certainly understand that. We're an ACC country, so we get it. We know how it works.
Right.
I'm just my thinking would be if we expand it, all right, then what's the purpose of expanding it? And okay, let's expand it. But then if we do that, let's get every regular season champion in every league. Now you got the best team in every league playing. And now is it the best team in the country? Who knows? But it was the best team throughout the course of the season, getting into the tournament. And then if you want a tournament champion mixed in there, and now you got a hot team at the end of the year. However you want to look at it, but. And then if you want every Power 5 from the SEC in it, fine. At least you it kind of expanded that field for the membership, so to speak.
Absolutely. And one more question, Coach, because I know you're a busy man. You probably got to get going. Replay. I'm not going to go into depth. There was a couple questionable replays I saw last year. A lot of people complained about in the regionals during the tournament. As far as replay goes, Coach, I'm not talking about it on a regular season level. I know if you're good, you're just going to win, and you're going to have a winning record. I'm thinking more of it for regionals, super regionals, and even conference tournaments. And I know a lot of conferences already do it. But I think, do you think it could be a situation where there's some type of command center where maybe somebody at the NCAA takes a double look at a play to make sure that if it's somebody's last time playing baseball, or if, a coach could have his job on the line, who knows? Let's just make sure we got the play or the call right. And I'm not trying to criticize umpires at the same time. I just want people to think about it, and I respect umpires. I want to make sure I say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that, hey, let's get the call right. I think what you run into potentially is finances and having the right equipment to be able to run something like that. I can only speak from my experience and what we see. And sometimes when you're looking at a replay, even the picture, you can hardly tell. You know what I mean? So right. I think it comes down to it being a challenge to run it across the board simply because of equipment and having the right equipment and having enough pixels or whatever you call it. Again, I'm a baseball coach, but where you can actually see and tell some things. You get a lot of feedback from these tournaments that, we couldn't change the call because we couldn't tell. Well, is that because of quality of equipment or, so there are a lot of ways to look at it. But I think we're on the right path. We're using it in our league. I know a lot of leagues are using it. I think we're trying to get the calls right, but I think that's the objective, that's the goal, and I think it should be. Now, whether we can afford to have a command center, well, that's a lot of college baseball games across the country, and financially, I don't see that happening. But maybe I'm wrong on that.
Maybe just for regionals or super regionals, maybe is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, potentially, yeah, sure, absolutely. Once you get in that area, you're cutting costs. It don't cost you near as much. But again, it's who's hosting and do they have the right equipment? And most of the times, once you get to that level, especially super regionals, your top teams are hosting, so they got the right equipment, and perhaps there can be a command center. But there's just so much that goes into a pace of play. We're always talking about pace of play, how we improve pace of play. And then when you're stopping every other play, and so that that becomes an issue. So. I kind of like the umpire element. I've been known to yell at them from time to time. But at the end of the day, it's our sport. It's baseball, and but sure, we all want to get the call right. But it's hit or miss with me. I like some aspects of it. I certainly like it in postseason.
Right.
I think it would be very difficult to run it year round for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm just in agreement with it with regionals and super regionals, so we get those right. Yep. All right. That is. I really appreciate your time, Coach. I've been, calling around. I know everybody's excited about next weekend. Good luck against the University of Kentucky. Appreciate you, man. That's head coach Mike Kennedy, Elon University. Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Bye.